for one of the biggest rivalries in college football. On October 26th, it's the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida State Seminoles at Hard Rock Stadium. It's an orange out, wear orange, and bring the noise in a game you don't want to miss. The Canes and Noles, October 26th. Tickets are going fast, so secure yours now by visiting MiamiHurricanes.com or by calling 1-800-GO-CANES.
Join us for the Coors Light College Football Game of the Week as we feature Florida State taking on Miami. The ESPN West Palm Street team will be at Mulligan's Beach House in Jensen Beach Saturday, October 26th from 7 to 9. Enjoy $2.50 drafts and $15 buckets of ice-cold Coors Light. Show us your tailgate toss skills for a chance to win prizes, courtesy of Palm Beach Autographs. Must be 21 or older to participate. Molson Coors reminds you to please drink responsibly.
When it comes to choosing a health plan, you can trust the members who have experienced it firsthand. Humana is proud to offer a Medicare Advantage plan in Florida that earned 5 out of 5 stars. 5 stars is the highest rating possible. It's based on real members' experiences, and it's decided by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Our Humana Gold Plus HMO earned 5 out of 5 stars. That means a few things. It means members get outstanding customer service. It means we connect them with excellent preventive care and chronic condition support. Most of all, it means you have a trustworthy option for a Medicare Advantage plan. Explore our 5-star Humana Gold Plus HMO at humana5star.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Every year, Medicare evaluates plans based on a 5-star rating system. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies.
Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Movement in the NFL. Highlighted, of course, DeAndre Hopkins. Talk about a turnaround. The god-awful Tennessee Titans packing his bags, going to Kansas City. Now he's playing for the Super Bowl favorites all of a sudden. How about a wake up on that one? Oh, wow, I'm going to play with Patrick Mahomes? Wow, what a turnaround that is. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass as always. At the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. It's the Wednesday edition. Mid-October, you got the World Series coming up on over the weekend. NBA tipped off last night. Everybody wants to, give the Celtics the Larry O'Brien trophy already.
Is that right?
And, of course, LeBron and Bronny, the highlight of everybody's conversation today. Bronny, an astounding 2 minutes.
Come on.
Let's write home about it.
It was a great story. Father and son duo. Come on.
Make-A-Wish minutes.
Oh, man.
It's stupid. Who cares?
Why?
Who cares?
Colin, it's the first time it ever happened.
I agree with that. I agree with the story behind it. But it just did not see. I didn't watch it, but I saw like the whole rah-rah around it. It was so forced. It's laughable. It's a little different when the Griffies go back to back. It's stupid. How does anybody get into that? Because there's not a shred of authenticity to it.
Because you're saying he didn't deserve the minutes at all and should have rode the bench?
But the team's saying that. He played 2 minutes.
Right.
That I'm not saying anything. The team is showing that hey, Bronny did not deserve to play in this game, but we're going to do it just to get the. And I understand. Get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Get it out of the way.
No,
but the fact that everybody's writing home about how this is the top sports moment they've ever seen, you need to rethink some priorities. That is not one of the great sports moments or stories that you've ever seen.
It's a great moment for LeBron. Let's call it for
what
it is.
It's for LeBron.
It's a great moment.
How do you think Bronny feels about that?
It's a great moment for LeBron and the James family. We'll see what Bronny ends up turning into. Who knows, Kyle? Maybe he surprises us. Maybe he turns into a good NBA player one day. Maybe, Dad wanted him with him right now to polish his skills. Maybe there's a little bit of that going on. From my viewership, he probably should have stayed in college and sharpened his skills. Maybe LeBron said, no one better to teach him but me.
I'm shocked that the guy who was not a terrific player in high school and was a below-average college player at the collegiate level is now ineffective against NBA players.
He had 17 points in his final preseason game.
And how was he the other preseason games? He was terrible. I'm not here to rain on his parade. I understand it's a 19-year-old kid who had a cardiac arrest a year ago. But the idea that this is some, right home to mom and dad, this is one of the great moments in sports in terms of the storyline behind it, it's a little much. You're going to have to miss me there. Who cares? This is not, it doesn't seem genuine. It's cool, but he's going to be now demoted, shipped to G League so where he can develop his skills there. Cool. And I understand this is coming. Like I understand the idea that LeBron pays the bills, LeBron runs that league, and LeBron runs that team. So make him happy, of course. There's nothing wrong with that. And I have no problem with them throwing him in there to get that story out there. And you know what? Get it out of the way. Let LeBron and Bronny play together, make him happy, get that out of the way. I like that. And this is coming from somebody myself. I got multiple opportunities because of what last names involved. And you have to acknowledge that. And of course, it makes a difference. But that, to me, being one of the great stories in sports, a little much. That's just my opinion on that. The Chiefs, on the NFL side of things, finally making a move and finally acquiring a receiver. And this is not, the Kadarius Tonys of the world. This is DeAndre Hopkins. This guy's been an all-pro. So they go get him overnight, and Adam Schefter reports it first thing this morning that he will be packing his bags going to Kansas City. This is exactly, in a lot of ways, what the Chiefs needed. I didn't think this was a major need, but he's going to be an important piece for them now.
Yeah, and when you got a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes that's going to be slinging him the ball, I think you're going to see just how good DeAndre Hopkins still is. Colin, my first reaction to this was, all right, now we're going to see what kind of player Hop is in the NFL right now, because let's be honest, I personally think since he left the Texans, I don't want to say he kind of went by the wayside because he had a lot of good years in Arizona as well, Colin, but I kind of forgot about him. I kind of forgot about Hopkins after the, I guess, birth of Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and the next great crop of receivers.
He was viewed in that in-between area of like post Larry Fitzgerald,
post Julio,
post Antonio Brown, and in between before you got to the Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase,
right,
Tyreek Hills of the world. There was a 2 to 3 year period where there was kind of no man's land for that receiver position, and there wasn't any 1A. Mm-hmm. And he kind of slotted himself in that for about a 2-year period where he was viewed as sort of the 1A guy.
And I just feel like my big thing that stuck out to me reading the story from Adam Schefter today is, number one, we're going to find out if Hop still has something left in the tank. And number two, I think he does. I think he was, I don't want to say hiding, but I think his talent wasn't being used to the best of his abilities with Will Levis and some of the trash cans that were thrown him the football there in Tennessee. And how about Tennessee? I mean, talk about someone who's heading to the cage in Vegas and cashing in all their chips.
What an underpick that was. 6.5. They're not touching that.
Never. They were never touching that. And there are a lot of teams, I feel, and Colin, I feel like a lot of good teams in the NFL and a lot of teams that are just dreadful, like New England, like Cleveland, like the Raiders, like the Giants, like the Panthers. A lot of dreadful in the NFL. And there are going to be a whole lot more teams that are selling just like the Tennessee Titans.
Well, add that team to the list. Now, the question is, in terms of cashing in the chips, so to speak,
going to the cage,
what teams are there now that are going to or have cashed in the chips a little bit? We've heard a plethora of rumors about the Los Angeles Rams. I don't think that's McVay's style to really dump everybody like that, but it's in the cards.
And quickly on the Rams, Colin, Cooper Kupp, a hero of the Super Bowl run, beloved favorite of the 3 fans out there in Los Angeles that root for the Rams. To trade Cooper Kupp would be a big statement. Yeah. And I don't see McVay as the type of, all right, we're just going to bow down and try to lose every single game.
That's not him or
picks.
Les Snead. No, they're go-getters. So, and with that division, not necessarily nobody's running away with it. That would surprise me. But who else is going to cash in their chips here? I mean, Amari Cooper, you already saw a little bit of that with the Browns, and you got to imagine they're going to make another move or two as people, buyers, start to pluck their talent. That would be my guess.
And also, Kyle, like who do people want from New England other than maybe a couple offensive linemen? Who do people want from? I mean, obviously the Raiders, Max Crosby, but the Giants, like, are the Giants completely okay with trading whatever they have? I mean, if the Giants sell their chips, Colin, Dable's out.
Well, I don't think
Dable out either way.
They're not selling their chips. They're not selling. I don't think
the Giants.
No, I don't. I don't think so.
Why?
Well, who are they going to sell? Who are they going to sell? Give me an example.
I guess that just goes to my question of who on that roster are they going to get rid of?
It's the same thing with the Patriots. Who are they going to sell? They don't have a lot of. There's Josh Uche, but like,
are the Browns who you were looking at with like a Myles Garrett?
Because not even hit, but they have talent all over the field. So there's not a question of talent on the Browns side. There's somebody to trade. So I'm thinking of availability. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are on that list too. They have a couple receivers there that they have price tags attached to them that they could ship out.
What do you mean? This is the best team the Jags have had in 15 years.
Christian Kirk, I wouldn't be surprised if you see him shipped out. That could be a team that cashes in their chips.
Didn't the owner say that, Colin?
He did, or before the year.
But doesn't that make you think they're going to, I don't know, go for it? Are they going to buy?
No, they're not going to buy.
Trolling you.
Yeah, I understand.
I think Kirk is a piece. I think there are a lot of players on that defense people would want.
Yeah, it's a matter of, if the costs can move in, but they have a couple linebackers there that are young and cheap.
Walker?
Is
he someone you get rid of?
That's somebody that GM is going to die on that hill. So no. Carolina, are they going to go after a couple players there, whether it's a receiver and Deontay Johnson, who took to the media and said, I can't play every position on the field. Thank God. I mean, he's not that great of a player. He's like, I can't do everything on the field.
Maybe a couple that run Hubbard.
So I think if there was a team that has, number one, assets to sell, and number two, that are entering the realm of being able to cash in their chips, and all right, we're going to punt to next year essentially and capitalize on draft capital from the buyers. I think Jacksonville would be on that list. The Titans have already made themselves known on this list. Jacksonville, Tennessee, Cleveland. The Raiders on that? Probably.
Yeah. And can I throw another team, Colin?
Go ahead.
Saints.
They have a lot of cap issues.
The Saints,
so if they could get out of something, I would agree. But I don't know what they could get out of.
3, 4, 5. After Clint Kubiak was named the greatest offensive mind in NFL history.
After 2 weeks.
They've lost 5 games in a row.
Yeah. So that's another interesting one, too. I could totally see them making some moves there to sell. Everybody was hypothesizing about Kamara, but they just inked him down to an extension. So
2 more years.
Yeah. He's hanging around. So I think, I would agree with that. I think the Saints would be on that list of a next team that's going to cash it all in.
Mm-hmm.
New England, I don't know. It's a new head coach. It's not like they have a ton of assets that are going to go for big-time capital.
Can I make a case for New England maybe not doing that? Number one, they don't have anyone to give up. And number two, they don't need a franchise quarterback. Colin, I think a lot of the teams you're going to see selling are teams that need franchise quarterbacks. The Browns. And listen, I understand the owner might be in denial about Deshaun Watson, but
Tennessee was probably going to be in the market
need a quarterback. And then I mentioned the Raiders. I mean, our content director here at ESPN West Palm, Brian Rowitz, biggest Raider fan I know, run out to the hallway and scream to the heavens to Brian Rowitz if they need a quarterback, okay? Aiden O'Connell, oh, wait. He's not the quarterback of the future? Shocker. Gardner Minshew? Shocker.
Yeah, I agree. So this is going to be fascinating here to see who else. You're right. I think there's an association
quarterback
with
hungry teams.
But this is not necessarily the golden ticket of quarterback drafts.
No, it's not.
So that's probably why it's a little bit more glaring that there's 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks that are maybe worth the top 15 selection. I'd only say 2 in Sanders and Ward, but that's another conversation for another day. I don't know.
It is, and I find it ironic for at least I'm going to complain about the team I root for a little bit with the Browns. How many quarterbacks did we have go in the first round last year? 5?
Yeah, Penix, McCarthy, Williams, Daniels, May, Nix.
And now the Browns stink and need a quarterback.
So 6.
And it's not a quarterback draft. But a team that needs a quarterback too are the Saints. Spencer Rattler, I think that experiment failed after a quarter.
Well, I don't even know if that's an experiment. Carr's hurt. I think that's more
sure.
of it.
But listen, I said Derek Carr was a top 10 quarterback 3 years ago and got laughed off the air, okay? I like Derek Carr, but he's an older quarterback, and I think he's been injured for the last couple of years now.
But the problem
right?
is he signed that giant extension. He's under the books for at least another 2 years.
And similar with the Browns, too. But, you're in denial at this point, right? You're in quarterback denial. Do you want to know who I think
Well,
the
Browns are definitely going to make a move for a quarterback now due to this Achilles injury.
I'm interested to hear your opinion on this as well. I think the Cardinals need a quarterback.
They're not going.
They got a giant contract with that guy.
So why get a quarterback? That doesn't make. So you're not. They have to pay the quarterback number 1. They have to pay quarterback number A, and then all of a sudden they should draft quarterback number B and let quarterback A rot when quarterback A is actually he's not the problem on the team. Same thing with Carr. He's quarterback A. Why are you going to sit him on the bench after you signed him that giant extension just so he could rot in the bench for a quarterback rookie experiment?
I just feel like a lot of these teams fall under the, can this guy win me a Super Bowl? I know I do as a fan.
Yeah, but contractually it doesn't make any sense.
Can you get rid of people would want Kyler Murray, though.
Why
would you trade? Would you
blow it
get
all
out
up?
of that contract?
Why blow it all up?
What are you blowing up, though, Colin?
You get rid of your quarterback, that's blowing it all up. You're blowing up the fact that you have a quarterback that is probably worthy of an extension. He's a top 50%, maybe.
Murray's under contract for a long time.
And he hasn't even played bad this year. I think Murray's he's streaky, he's inconsistent, he's undersized, but he wins you a couple games.
Do you think the Cardinals could compete with that division this year with how bad it is? They're 3-4. I thought they were worse, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the mix.
I thought they were worse than 3-4.
They got a new head coach. Why would you cash in the chips? There's only a couple. And for who? For who? Who are you going to go get? You're not getting Sanders. Sanders, lock him into the Raiders.
I mean, Sanders, he's picking where he wants to go. The first time in NFL history, right?
Well, not the first, but I
mean, you see what I'm saying. Eli obviously told somebody no. L.A. historically, but
lock that into Las Vegas, and then Cam Ward will go somewhere else. And from that perspective, where else should you go from there?
I guess the point I'm trying to make is, do you think there are a lot of teams out there, I think, that regret their current quarterback contracts?
Absolutely.
I think the Cardinals,
but that does not mean
Saints,
you should go into the draft drafting a quarterback, because it's a waste of a pick. You're wasting a pick, you're wasting a contract. So now all of a sudden you're wasting 2 different things. You're wasting the rookie quarterback contract, which is valuable in the NFL, because you're not even getting the benefit out of it, because the benefit of having a rookie quarterback on contract is it's cheap and you can pay everyone else.
I think the hard part's riding out the contract, right? Riding out we gotta lay in the bed that we made.
Yeah. So, but that doesn't mean that for the Cardinals or the Saints or Jacksonville or something like that they should go to a quarterback. You do it when you need a quarterback. And I think somebody like the Browns, I understand that is probably the example that we could give, because he is so laughably bad. So that is the example where they were willing to bury that money. Everyone else has their up and downs. Like Murray, ups and downs. Carr, ups and downs. So ultimately, I think this is a situation in which, you paid him, you got to kind of deal with it. You get a developmental guy if you want, but you're not going to break the bank and try somebody new. That's my take on that, right?
I guess what it comes down, I guess I'm just not I'm not a Kyler Murray guy. I don't think I ever was. College, pros, they made the playoffs one year.
You cannot be a guy, but doesn't mean you should get rid of him. That's what you're insinuating. Why would you get rid of him?
The biggest, I guess the takeaway I have, and what I've talked myself into, is that don't be so hasty to pay these guys, man. Ride some of these contracts out. That's why I feel like, Colin, this is an owner league, right? I mean, these rookie contracts are so long. Don't fall under the trap of you need to sign this guy to an extension. You had a couple good. Make him prove it. Make him ride out that deal. And guess what? If he doesn't perform for the 4 or 5 years, have someone else pay him. Maybe go back to the drawing board after 4 or 5 years if you don't think that guy could win a Super Bowl. Because the Jags and Lawrence, that looks like a nightmare. I mean, the Watson thing is the biggest nightmare in sports.
I wouldn't say that it's a nightmare. Lawrence played great on Sunday, and he's streaky. So I think that's more of
the Murray's making a lot of money. There are a lot of guys. Daniel Jones, Colin. Jones.
You alluded to. I agree. You're right. There's a point that these teams sometimes jump into a lengthy contract talk with quarterbacks that don't deserve it.
Like, who deserves that?
So what do you want them to do with Kyler Murray there? What do you want? What you're insinuating is that teams should reset, try rookie quarterbacks more often, and just have a revolving door of rookie quarterbacks every time something doesn't work. That's what you're saying.
You could tell I'm a Brown fan, right? I guess I.
And how about So here's the example. So that you want that. The teams that are consistently the worst in the NFL are those teams. Or the rinse and repeat teams after 2 years. That's what you're saying.
I think if you asked Arizona behind closed doors, I think they
would not say that. They paid it.
They regretted that decision. I think they regretted that decision right when they had to put in the clause of you have to study this amount of film. Remember, we had to put in a contract for this guy that he had to watch a specific amount of film because he couldn't put the game down.
I understand that, but Murray also addressed that, and he goes, he says, I'm a little flattered that you guys think I'm as good as I am without studying film. And he's right. He is undersized. He has a good arm, not a great arm. He has been drafted professionally in 2 sports. Acting like this guy does not practice is a little stupid.
The point I don't think the point I'm trying to make is what you're saying here. The point I guess I'm trying to make is that I think there are a lot of teams that are in quarterback purgatory and they might not realize it. And I think one of those teams is Arizona. I think
that's crazy.
I think a team like that is also New Orleans. I know you love Stafford, but there is going to have to be life after Stafford, and that might be coming sooner rather than later for the Rams.
That's not quarterback purgatory, Mike. That's not. What is the example of quarterback purgatory? Stafford? They won a Super Bowl 2 years ago.
But 2 years. You said it 2 years ago. What about now? You're 2-4 right now.
They were in the playoffs last year, dude. What are you talking about? Stafford? What are you saying?
Is he good enough to win right now?
Probably. Yes.
Probably?
Yes. Absolutely.
And then another example for you. They just signed him to $1 gazillion. What about Dak Prescott?
So what do you want them to do? Get rid of him?
I'm just saying, let's not be. If you're an organization, don't be so quick to pay. Like, I feel like
they weren't quick to pay Dak.
Jerry got
They
pressured.
weren't quick. They waited to the last possible second.
I don't think Jerry wanted to pay Dak. I think he got
pressured.
pressured.
Why did he do it? Then, Mike, why did he do it?
Because
pressured by who? When is the last time Jerry Jones gets pressured? Really? Come on. Think about this. Stop. Think about this. It's Jerry Jones we're talking about.
You think he wanted to pay Dak?
Why do they call it Jerry's World? It's that Jerry runs it. Jerry wanted to pay Dak. Jerry doesn't like. He's just loyal. That's what Jerry is. He likes hanging on to people. He's not pressured by the fan base. Matthew Stafford, quarterback purgatory. What are you talking about, dude? This doesn't make any sense.
They're not winning a Super Bowl with them. That's what I'm talking.
Mike, this is the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard from you.
What, 3 years ago?
They were in the playoffs last year.
2021, right?
Took the Lions down to the wire. It was the Super Bowl in 2022. What are you talking about?
I'm not. I think with the Rams and what they're finding out this year, they kind of need a restart.
So here's the Mike Rizzo solution formula for success. All right, you win a Super Bowl. Oh, we got to get rid of this guy. We got to get rid of him.
No,
he's on a time bomb.
Colin, you gave it 2 years. This is year 3.
Year 3 what about they took the Lions down to the wire last year in the playoffs. What about
last year?
It was 9 months ago.
You're 2-4 right now
because they've gotten ravaged with injuries. It's gotten ravaged with injuries, Mike, more than anybody. Come on.
I don't think
use your noodle. Think.
I don't think there's a coincidence that they're talking about trading Cooper Kupp right now and blowing this thing up. I agree with you that McVay would never do it.
They should get rid of Dak now. They signed him 3 weeks ago.
I'm not saying get rid of Dak. I'm saying they regret the contract.
So who should stay on the team? Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, and the list.
They regret the contract. I'm not saying you got to. I'm saying these teams are starting to regret some of these contracts. I think Jerry got cold feet a week after he signed Dak to the deal.
Oh, God. What a bunch of nonsense. What are they supposed to do, Mike? Draft somebody? Who did the Cowboys get now?
You can't now. You're done. Lay in your bed.
Who should they have gotten on the offseason?
What I'm saying is you got to lay in your bed now.
Who should they have gotten on the offseason? What should the Cowboys done? Answer my question. What should they have done? What should the Cowboys should have done? Tell me.
I personally think they should have ran with Dak this year and figure it out the year after. He was still under contract.
So the Cowboys...
You're still under contract for Dak this year, right?
So the Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. They have talent all over the field. And all of a sudden, they should ride it out with Dak, let him walk, and then go draft a rookie quarterback and then go compete for a Super Bowl the year after. That's what they should do. That's what you're saying.
The big question I think teams that have to ask is, can we win with this guy? And listen, I might sit here and complain about Goff. At least the Lions made a decision and said, yes, this guy is our guy. And it looks like a pretty good decision. And I might have to eat a giant-sized crow for when Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl this year.
So here's the problem. You have to pay a quarterback eventually. You're on the team of if they cannot win the Super Bowl, and there's only 4 quarterbacks that can. If they don't win a Super Bowl, don't pay them. That's what you're saying.
Reset the clock. Try to find a guy who can.
That is the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my entire life. Entire life. So who do we pay? So who can stay on their team? Tell me the players that can stay on their team. Mahomes, Jackson, Burrow, Allen. Who else can stay on their team? They haven't won with Herbert. Should they get rid of him?
I think Herbert has showed you, enough.
What has he showed you?
I think he showed you that with good head coaching, there's nothing around Herbert right now.
Oh, so there's nothing around Herbert, so we got to give him a break, but Stafford needs to go. That's what I'm hearing. But Kyler Murray has to go.
Stafford needs to go because he's old, Colin. I grew up with Matt Stafford. Christ, I was watching him in
Mike, we're 9 months
in high school. I was watching Matt
They need to get a quarterback later. They don't need a quarterback now. 9 months ago.
Is more because of age.
9 months ago.
You got to realize Stafford is more because of age.
We realize what? 9 months ago, he took the Cowboys down to the wire. The Lions.
It's okay.
Down to the wire. Down to the wire. Mike, down to the wire. 9 months ago. He's not 10 years older. Stupid. Mike, come on.
But it's 9 months.
God.
It's this
now
year.
We're
Colin,
9 months.
Colin, things change, man. This isn't last year.
What should the Rams do?
This isn't last year.
What should the Rams do, Mike? Tell me. What should the Rams do?
I think they need a reset on so many levels with Donald retiring, with some of those contracts expiring.
Sure.
With Matthew Stafford being north of 35.
Let Stafford retire.
Stafford's 35, 36.
Mike, let him retire.
And just rot away 2 years? I know they don't have any fans out there.
You just said, hold on. That's exactly what you just said.
They don't have any fans out there. People don't care.
Here's your argument. You just said, well, they just lost Donald. They just lost this guy. They got to reset. So I say, all right, well, reset while letting Stafford play and retire. And then you said, well, and then rot? You're contradicting your own argument.
It's not that I'm contradicting it. I'm saying that they're in denial if they don't think they need the big thing I'm saying is these teams are in denial. They need quarterbacks.
Oh, God.
And Jerry just gave Dak $1 billion, and I don't even think he believes he's a franchise quarterback.
So you're offering no solution. You're offering zero solutions.
The solution is to ride it out because you got pressured into paying a
you don't understand how agents,
and I'm not saying Dak is
you don't understand how
these guys are bad quarterbacks, man.
So where do you allocate your salary cap? You want to ride out every contract known to man. They don't pay anybody? Who do they pay then? Somebody's going to have to get paid.
You pay Lamb, you pay Parsons, you pay guys who are going to be a part of a Super Bowl.
But you don't pay the most important position on the field. That's what you don't do.
You pay the guys who deserve it.
We'll continue the conversation next. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Feeling too intelligent after listening to Unsportsmanlike? Balance it out with Theoretically Speaking weekdays at 2 on ESPN 106.3.
Whoa!
Hey, it's Josh Cohen for the Accident Attorneys, Anajar and Levine. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Did you get injured on the job? Workers' comp problems? My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they will fight for you. Remember, they do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation you know you deserve. Here's what you do. You just call. Call Anajar and Levine for your absolutely free consultation. Do not settle for just any attorneys. Demand Anajar and Levine. And demand the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes just one phone call to begin to take back control of your life. So do that. Take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Hey everyone, it's Kevin Love.
This is Bam Adebayo.
This is Terry Rozier.
This is Tyler Hero.
This is Josh Richardson. This is Nikola Jokic.
This is Duncan Robinson.
This is Jimmy Butler, and you're listening to ESPN West Palm.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for Miami Heat basketball.
Good Greek moving and storage. The superhero movers.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and 2023 football, lacrosse, and men's swimming and diving titles. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Batter up, swing, batter, swing, batter.
This one is for all the marbles. World Series week on ESPN 106.3 is presented by PNC Bank. PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the lives of the customers they serve in the South Florida community. See how at PNC.com. World Series week on ESPN 106.3 is also presented by Hurricane Grill and Wings, X-Golf West Palm Beach, The Breakers Palm Beach, and South Florida Ford.
Fall in love with your favorite sweet treats at DQ Grill & Chill. Featuring the blizzards of the month, pumpkin pie with world-famous soft serve, real pumpkin pieces, whipped topping, and nutmeg. Or the French silk pie blizzard, combining all those iconic velvety rich flavors, plus new blizzards on DQ's fall menu, such as caramel Java chip, Reese's Pieces cookie dough, and salted caramel truffle. If that's too much and need a quick kick, try the new DQ White Mocha Shake. DQ Grill & Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road, and US 1, just south of North Lake.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got the Knox in the house, right? And I go by the name of Wyclef. I bought the band.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. Phone lines are open, 888-760-3776. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. Should the Cowboys get rid of Dak Prescott? Should the Arizona Cardinals get rid of... That's exactly what you were saying.
No.
Should the Cardinals get rid of Kyler Murray? Please, enlighten me.
I more or less am saying... You can't be so quick to, and I understand Jerry wasn't quick to do this. I feel like Jerry was peer pressured to sign Dak Prescott because they have a win now roster. And I get that. But I don't think you're winning with Dak. I broke it down into lists, Colin, for you. All right. The quarterbacks that are worth it. Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Stroud, who hasn't been paid yet under a rookie contract, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert. Now, I know you think it's asinine that I put Herbert on there because he has one. Under TBDs, Jordan Love, TBD. Huge contract. We got to see him play more than one season. Agreed? TBD
They
on
had to pay him. You had to pay him.
In denial, okay? These are teams in denial. New Orleans, Los Angeles, Seattle. So, hang on. Let me finish. New Orleans, Los Angeles, Seattle. Those are teams in denial. They need a quarterback, but they're riding it out. They need a quarterback, but they're riding it out. The awful contracts. Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson. I don't know where to put Trevor Lawrence on here. I think it's TBD because Lawrence is, I think, has all the tools as a quarterback to be successful. Okay. I think Lawrence is in a bad situation right now with the Jags. I don't think it's a DW case, a Deshaun Watson case, where he can't just play anymore, and it's an awful situation. That's the point I'm trying. This is the point I'm trying to make.
Please get to it.
The point I'm trying to make is what I just said.
What, Dak Prescott is a terrible contract?
They're bad contracts, and
here's the rules of the NFL. If you're a top 50% of the quarterback, you leapfrog the guy in front for the top contract in the NFL. That's just how contracts work. That's how the salary cap improves. That's how the agents are all on the same page because you guys are represented by the same 9 guys. This is how they do it. That's how leverage works. This is not just play monopoly money and you can throw money here, but you can't do it there. Because then you're going to get holdouts. You're going to get unhappy players. You're going to get this. You're going to get unhappy agents. And then all of a sudden, their other clients are not going to want to deal with you because you don't sign people to extensions. So you're talking about from a franchise perspective.
This position, though. This position is different.
The most important,
you agree?
No, it's the most important position on the field. So all of a sudden, this guy, Dak Prescott, who's represented by Agent A, all of a sudden the Cowboys are playing tough and easy and impossible to get an extension signed with Dak Prescott. All of a sudden, Agent A is telling Cowboys, all right, I'm not telling any of my players to go play for you. And it's the Cowboys, too, Brandon. The agents do that. They blackball teams with their clients. So there's that perspective that you're not considering. On top of the fact, Prescott came over here. He had like 35 touchdowns last year. Yeah, they haven't won a Super Bowl. Who has won a Super Bowl? Mahomes? Brady? Yeah. Foles? Stafford? Yeah. Those are the players. Who can you win with? Talk about jury's out. You got to pay the guys who are good for your team. And if you're winning games, there's no argument to be had. Yeah, you might not win a Super Bowl. You can't think like that. What do you want, 20 rookie quarterbacks starting every year?
Jerry has to think like that in Dallas. You know the expectations there.
So you want to have 20 rookie quarterbacks starting every year. That's what you're saying?
Not saying that.
Yes, you are.
You don't have to go out and get it. Look what Minnesota did. And honest to God, I was very against it. I was very against the whole Sam Darnold experiment.
Well, they had no choice.
You have other choices besides going.
So you want to just have a journeyman revolving door around the league.
But
That's
you
what you're
could have
saying.
had Dak this year. Like I just feel like teams are very they get peer pressured into signing these guys.
Peer pressured by who? The fans?
Not the but agents, fans, whoever.
Because that's called leverage. It's not peer pressure. It's leverage. You need to sign my guy. He's not going to risk getting hurt, so you could blackball my player after he gets hurt. That's their perspective.
The Browns signed Watson out of desperation, and it was awful. I feel like Dak, you signed Dak because of the point you made.
You signed players out of good faith.
Who are you going to get?
Mike, you signed players out of good faith. This guy has done well for us. He's on an upward trajectory. The players like him. The coaches like him. The fans like him. And he's a good player. That's why you sign him. You don't sign him because of the prospect that he can win a Super Bowl.
I feel like a lot of these teams are very unhappy with the money that they've spent. And they feel like that they're kind of stuck with that contract and they just got to ride it out.
Old Cooler and Jupiter, you join Russo and Rizzo now. What's going on? What's on your mind?
What's going on, guys? You're both right? I mean, it's one of those situations where you both can be right. But one more thing you got to think about, and I've seen this a ton, is you got to remember a lot of these teams are also going to be looking for new coaches. And a coach who's sitting right now on the couch or doing, on Sunday doing, sitting in the booth, that's a pretty comfortable job. So you better have a good situation, an attractive situation, to go to that team. So you see teams that have no money. Why the hell would they go there? They're making $1 million just breaking down games and eating, drinking yoo-hoos. So, that's the other part that goes into not tanking. But for these ownerships like Dallas, I mean, you got to be careful. If you want a new coach there, you got to make sure there's money and you got to have a quarterback. If these guys to get off that couch and to go to that team, it better be a win-win-win situation, at least on paper, for them to be a.
Well, the Cowboys.
That's another part that goes into the thought process.
The Cowboys are an outlier because I think any coach in the league would. It doesn't matter. They have good players. Their contract situations are one thing, but it's the Cowboys. It's a little different, but I understand your point. But another thing you could add to that is quarterback stability. Coaches want to go somewhere where there's a stable quarterback or the prospect of getting a really good one. If you're in quarterback limbo,
Absolutely.
That's the fastest way for a coach to get in and out as quick as possible.
And Jacksonville, who knows what they're going to do? But Cleveland, you have Rabel right there, front row seat. He knows that's a graveyard for quarterbacks. And obviously with Dallas, you got a 900-year-old man who will not let anyone else make a decision. So all these situations come up. It's very difficult to get a coach which will win three games for you a year, being a great coach. So make it a great situation for him. But right now there aren't too many great situations because of the quarterback and because of the funding that they had. They got themselves in knots.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. There's no doubting that the Cowboys are in some trouble, and they have their They have their own woes they're going to have to figure out. And this is not just a Cowboys thing. It's the principle that Mike is bringing up that I have a problem with. The idea that they should rinse and repeat this quarterback experiment. The idea is you should avoid the quarterback experiment. And, Mike, you're on the complete other side of things. You want them to lean into it. You want them to play in high-leverage, non-contract, lockdown situations.
It's when you play the best. It's when a guy plays the best is when you're trying to earn a contract, no? I feel like the ultimate goal, I think, is to win a Super Bowl. And if you're signing a quarterback and you don't think this guy can win a Super Bowl, if you're signing him to crazy money, I have a problem with that. And Colin, maybe you help me understand something a little bit today. The agents, the leverage side, you're right. You're right.
You acting like it's like a monopoly money situation where I'm as the owner or the general manager can make every decision and they just got to deal with it. It's a two to tango, Mike, and there's a reputation on the line. Players go to franchises that are good to players. They don't like going to franchises that, what you're saying, are terrible and inconsistent and unreliable with players.
I think teams have to be maybe a little more selective on who you're going to give the farm to, especially with how. And listen, Cleveland ruined the quarterback market. That's why all the owners were pissed when Watson signed that guaranteed deal.
Nobody's doubting that. Nobody's saying that Watson's the outlier here. I have a problem with you saying Stafford. I have a problem with you saying
Carr.
Carr has had a fairly successful career. He's been able to play consistently. Has this been a Derek Carr problem? They were good when they played with Carr. He got hurt.
With the Stafford situation, it's more or less, it's not me saying he stinks, Colin. It's me saying he's 36 years old. When I say you're in denial, Stafford's 36. You might want to figure something out at some point.
Denial of what? He's playing the rest of the year.
And I don't think Stafford is the guy if you draft a quarterback early on. Wasn't the rumor Bo Nix could have been drafted by the Rams?
And then they didn't have an option to get one. Okay, so you figure it out when you get there. But the idea that you should be panicking because you have Matthew Stafford.
No, I guess
I wasn't
of what,
clear.
Mike?
Denial
I wasn't
of what?
clear
Denial
with
of
my
what?
points here.
Are they in denial that he's old?
I apologize. This is on me. I wasn't clear with my gripes.
Well, explain it. You're right here. Explain it.
The gripes, like when I say they're in quarterback denial, it's all that's saying is they need a quarterback. And it doesn't.
So the Rams need a quarterback.
The Rams need a quarterback.
The Rams do not need a quarterback.
The Saints need a quarterback.
The Rams do not need a quarterback. The Rams do not need a quarterback. Bury that. They do not need a quarterback.
He's 36 years old.
Okay, he's old. They do not need a quarterback. Right now, today, they do not need a quarterback. They might need a backup to develop. Sure, look towards the future. Today, the fact that you're saying the Rams and Matthew Stafford, a Hall of Fame quarterback, a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, they need another one? No. Talk about operating in not good faith. Mike, geez, it's Matthew Stafford we're talking about. And you gave Herbert the pass that they don't have enough around him. What about Stafford?
Well, the problem with Herbert was the coach was a moron as well.
Okay.
And now there's nothing around him. There was something around Herbert.
Okay.
He did have weapons with Allen and Mike Williams and Eckler. And
if you asked McVay that question about Stafford, what do you think he would say?
I mean, he'll blame the injuries this year. That's what he'll say.
And is that an excuse in your eyes? Is that an excuse in your eyes?
I'm not saying they need him.
Is that an excuse in your eyes?
The denial part comes from him being 36 years old, Colin. It's not the performance.
They're not in denial about his age. They're waiting for him to retire. They're not in denial about his age. They're going to let the guy retire, Mike. They might trade him if he wants to go somewhere and look towards, maybe, but they're going to let him retire. He's earned himself the ability to play his last year. This probably is his last year. To go and ride off into the sunset. Let him. The idea that you should bench him and just send him off the pasture on the owner's decision.
I'm not saying bench him this year. You're missing my when I said denial. They have to have the answer here soon, or else you're going to turn into one of these teams who's going to win one game, win two games for a couple of years, and the more I see the Packers do things, the more I want. The more I think teams should do it. Kind of like how the Packers do.
So hold on. So now we're flipping this all over the place. So now that every team should do it like the Packers do. But when I brought up the fact that they should sit quarterbacks when they start, you were completely against that. So what should they do? A couple weeks ago, you said that they should play these quarterbacks immediately. You got to know if they're ready to win immediately, and you got to know if there's your guy immediately, or else you ship them off after 2 years. You said that. That's
you got to start.
All of a sudden, now everybody should do the Packers.
You have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Like with Baltimore, all right? Baltimore has Lamar Jackson, okay? Once Jackson starts getting up there in age, maybe think about drafting a quarterback. Maybe think about drafting a quarterback and start developing.
But
like you have to, like if you think a guy is immediately ready and you're a dumpster organization, yes, you start him immediately.
So everybody should do what the Packers do.
Try to get to that level of have an established quarterback.
But why did you say? Then why do you say these guys have to play immediately? A couple weeks ago, you did say that.
They have to play immediately because you're on an awful team. Joe Burrow was on an awful team. Bryce Young was on an awful team. There was no one to start. Who are you starting over those guys?
So you need. So my point is, all of a sudden everybody should let these guys develop.
Each situation is different.
Okay, so all of a sudden now they should let somebody draft behind Stafford when that's not a pressing need for a team that was in the playoffs last year. They should go draft a quarterback high so they can let him develop for 3 years down the line. That's what they should do.
Doesn't have to necessarily be a first. I trust McVay. I trust the front office.
You know what I expect to
figure something out.
I expect Stafford to walk and Darnold to come over there on the first flight over. That's what I expect. And then what? Then they're okay? Yeah. There's not a denial about that. The fact that these guys, what are they supposed to do? Not pay their quarterbacks, let them play in a contract year, and just continue. There's not enough good quarterbacks that come out of drafts, Mike, to be able to do this.
So then you're going to be stuck. You'll be stuck with a bad quarterback contract and paying them $1 gazillion. You okay with that?
How many quarterbacks?
I'm not okay with that, man.
How many quarterbacks have won Super Bowls in the past 8 years? Different ones.
Pay a guy who you think can get you there.
5? 4?
You pay a guy who you think can get you there.
And they probably think that.
To your point, it's very hard to win. I understand that. The guys who could probably get you there are on that list that I mentioned of Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Stroud, Mahomes, Herbert. And there probably are a couple of guys I'm missing.
Herbert cannot.
Herbert had horrible coaching.
And, he also blew a 27-point lead on the road in the playoffs.
Khaki Pants is supposed to fix that, so I'll give him
the
a
idea
TBD.
that you're giving Herbert every excuse in the book, but we're ready to throw Stafford, who won a Super Bowl.
I'm not, dude. I feel like you think I'm saying Stafford is awful. I'm not saying Stafford is awful.
You mentioned his stats 10 minutes ago.
I'm saying the team is in denial. I think the team is in denial
What
a
are
little
they
bit.
in denial about? You're not explaining what they're in denial. The fact that he's
denial
old,
part
they
that
know
they're,
that he's
they're
old,
going,
and
that
they're going to get a quarterback.
That they need a quarterback because he's old. That's the denial part.
They do need a quarterback. They will get a quarterback when he's done.
And it's going to take some time.
What if they get Darnold? Then it's immediate. Darnold's right there. Darnold's going to be in that first flight to McVay. With O'Connell, he's going to be in the first flight to McVay.
When McCarthy's healthy?
Yes. So
there were rumors that McCarthy wasn't even going to start, though.
Doesn't matter. Who cares about rumors? Who cares? This is the stupidest argument I've ever heard from you, Mike. You want these quarterback carousel to be 20 out of the 32 teams. You want to be in constant quarterback carousel.
It was
the
more or
keys
less.
to the castle is locking
Colin,
down
I know
the
that.
position.
I know that's not how the NFL works. It's more or less me saying and giving my opinion that I think these teams need quarterbacks. They're not the quarterbacks.
So what about
Stafford's case?
What about
he's
the other
not,
21 positions on the field? Do they not need that?
In Stafford's case, he's not going to be good enough in the next year. I mean, I think you're seeing a little bit of that this year with Derek Carr. He's old. He's getting injured.
But he's hurt.
And half the time he's not playing up the stuff.
They lost 2.5 games when he was hurt. So there's that too. Started 2-0. You can't say it then. The Cardinals are 3-4. They're right in the thick of it. They're 3-4. Not 1-2.
2-5. 2-5.
Sure.
The Saints.
But sure, and the two of them with Rattler. You're acting like, geez, they got hurt. Acting like the Cardinals should go quarterback shopping because they're 3-4.
Isn't it the most important position?
Sure. What about the other 21, Mike? You got to allocate some resources there as well. You got to pay somebody there. You got to spend a draft pick here and there to develop somebody there.
Right. But the point I'm making is you don't want to give a lot of that money to a quarterback you don't believe in so you can have some money to spend on guys.
What makes you say they don't believe in him? What makes you say that? You saying that? You're not even in the
building.
building.
Do you believe in Kyler Murray? Do you believe in Daniel Jones? Do you believe in Dak Prescott?
I think there's a list you could count on one hand of quarterbacks that can truly this year win a Super Bowl. One hand.
Allen, Burrow, Jackson, CJ, Mahomes. I don't even think CJ. I don't even think CJ.
So what are the other 26 teams do, Mike?
But Stroud can.
Hold on.
You got to try to find.
Though the rest of those teams can't win at Super Bowl.
Write out the awful contracts you have and/or contract you have, and try to find those guys.
So let me get this straight.
Right?
So the teams
Don't you want to try to find the next Allen or Burrow
Hold on. They come once in every 10 years, but let's finish this.
Hang on. We just got done with the crop of 10 or 12 quarterbacks that had a chance to win.
Well,
we say all the time how the guard has changed.
So
don't you want to be one of those teams who have an elite quarterback?
Sure.
Instead of living off of...
But you're not going to get these quarterbacks don't fall off trees.
Find one.
Mahomes,
it's your job. You're being paid millions of dollars.
Stop. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jackson, Stroud. So the rest of the NFL...
You don't want to put Herbert on there.
No.
You don't want to put a Herbert on there.
Stop.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Give me one reason.
Give me one reason. Colin, I blame that.
Give me one reason.
I blame that Staley. I blame that coach.
So there's not one reason.
I blame that coach.
So not one reason. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jackson, Stroud.
I think Jordan Love, Hurts, TB, like those are guys who could be considered.
Hurts was three.
Those are players who could be considered to be in the conversation. Hurts has already been to a Super Bowl. Your guy Goff. I think your guy Goff could be TBD on the list as well.
TBD. How is Goff TBD? He's been to a Super Bowl.
Played it. I know.
Oh my God!
You make fun of me for this, but they lost the damn Super Bowl because of Goff.
Hurts was 2 plays away from winning the Super Bowl.
That's why I'm making a consideration
he played
that
great
he
in
can
the
be
game.
on the list.
And he played great in the game.
That's why I'm making the consideration that the Eagles aren't one of those teams.
You have such a short leash with these quarterbacks. Let them develop.
Colin, I don't think the Eagles are one of those teams. The Packers, the Eagles, the Lions, not all of these teams are on this list.
You just said that everybody outside you said that everybody outside of Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, and Stroud.
But it's not DEFCON 5. They're on good teams.
That's my point.
It's not DEFCON. The DEFCON 5 is the Cowboys Daniel Jones and the.
All right, fine. That's 4 teams. Cowboys are on DEFCON 5? Yes or no?
With the money they're paying Dak, he better win a Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
The answer is no. So the Cowboys are not on DEFCON 5.
It's an awful contract.
Are the Arizona Cardinals on DEFCON 5? Yes or no?
I think they're not winning anything. You're not winning anything with Kyler Murray.
They're not.
Bro.
They're not on.
You're not winning anything with Kyler.
So if you're not winning a Super Bowl,
is Kyler Murray winning a Super Bowl?
Where is the logic in this argument? If
you think Kyler Murray can win a Super Bowl,
stop making it so black and white. You said that. You just said 5 seconds ago you're not in DEFCON 5. So if you're not in DEFCON 5, can you pay your quarterback? Yes or no?
I think the Cardinals in that contract.
Answer my question, Mike. If you're not in DEFCON 5. The Daniel Joneses of the world and the Las Vegas Raiders, is it okay to pay the quarterback?
It's okay. It's okay to pay the quarterback if you think you can win a Super Bowl with them.
So what about So who can win a Super Bowl? Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jackson, Stroud. Outside of those 5, sure, we'll include Goff and
Love, Hurts.
Okay. So
and
everybody
then
else,
you got rookies. You got good rookies.
All right, forget the rookies.
Love.
So hold on. Forget the rookies.
Forget the rookies. All right.
Forget the
Daniels.
rookies. So every team outside of those, and you now all of a sudden we want to include Love.
You have to have the conversation of, can this guy win a Super Bowl?
Sure.
You have to have that conversation. Are we willing to give this guy a boatload of money? Are we willing to give this guy a boatload of money?
I don't disagree that the market surrounding the quarterback position is a little oversaturated in terms of market value. I completely agree. Now, the point that if you don't have Patrick Mahomes on your team, you should blow it all up and continue drafting quarterbacks trying to find it. That's exactly what you're saying. You said if you can't win a Super Bowl with this guy, and only the best quarterbacks can win a Super Bowl.
Allen doesn't have a Super Bowl, and Burrow doesn't have a Super Bowl. Jackson doesn't have a Super Bowl.
I know.
Stroud doesn't have a Super Bowl. Love, Hurts.
They're consistently there. Mike, they're consistently there. Enlighten me. You're dancing around the questions when I'm asking you. Enlighten me if I'm missing something. If you're saying if you kept said it 1,000 times, if you should ask yourself if these guys can win a Super Bowl, you should pay them.
I think the players I mentioned.
But that list is
the players
so
I mentioned,
marginalized.
That 10, 12-person quarterback list right there has a chance to win a Super Bowl with their current situation.
10 to 12 all of a sudden. We're at 5. Mike,
Love,
there's 5.
Hurts,
Mike, there's 5 quarterbacks.
Hurts, Allen, Burrow, Goff, Jackson, Mahomes, Herbert. That's 9.
Herbert cannot.
Boy. You think he could win a Super Bowl
Why
in a
can you
good
think
situation?
that? Why can you think that? Why?
Because he's got great stats. He's got the body frame.
We continue the conversation. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
ESPN 1063 is presented by Rubenstein Law. 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Car accident, truck accident, Uber or Lyft accident, or a slip and fall. Call Rubenstein Law. Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL and visit one of our offices throughout Florida.
Join us for the Coors Light College Football Game of the Week as we feature Florida State taking on Miami. The ESPN West Palm Street team will be at Mulligan's Beach House in Jensen Beach Saturday, October 26th from 7 to 9. Enjoy $2.50 drafts and $15 buckets of ice-cold Coors Light. Show us your tailgate toss skills for a chance to win prizes, courtesy of Palm Beach Autographs. Must be 21 or older to participate. Molson Coors reminds you to please drink responsibly.
It's ESPN 1063, your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, and all of the biggest football matchups throughout the week. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned by gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
It's the Good Greek Spiro. For the best move ever, go to goodgreek.com.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
VIP experiences await at South Florida's only PGA Tour event. The Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches is upping the golf game, February 27th through March 2nd with new luxury hospitality venues. Host colleagues and clients at the Shoreline Suites. Mingle with friends and family in the 1909 Terrace. Or treat yourself to the ultimate VIP week at the Yellow Flamingo Club. Limited spots remain. Inquire now at thecognizantclassic.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Eight 760-3776. Russo and Rizzo on a Wednesday here. I think we're circling around the same points here. I don't know if we need to continue this. But it's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063. Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo. Go take your mornings to a fast start. Go start your day with a win. I do it at F45 every morning right here in West Palm Beach. On Instagram, F45 West Palm Beach. It's a group setting workout. It's got two coaches right there. It's class-oriented, in and out in 45 minutes. It's functional. That's the idea behind it. It's supposed to be a functional lift, not necessarily the Olympic lifts that I found myself doing before I started going to F45. Now I find myself more flexible, more capable, better in shape. The heart rate is better. That's all stuff that F45 does for me. It's a great way to start my morning. I go every day, 6:30, 7:30. It's my win of the morning. Go check it out. You should too. F45 West Palm Beach. Go check out their Instagram. Seacat, how you doing?
You know, taking everything day by day. I am the American League champion. So it feels good waking up knowing that I personally am the champion of the American League.
What's your takeaway on what we were talking about the last two segments?
Mike, I think you have started with a general good idea here with not being so fast to pay these quarterbacks. I think the example of that is Jordan Love, where the extra $50 million.
He's TBD.
Or
right?
You know what? Let me help you out here, Mike. An extra $3 or $4 million a year is worth the insurance because you only saw a good 9 games out of a guy like Jordan Love.
But they put themselves in that position. But I understand the point.
And I think that it's worth risking those numbers being inflated if you are not 100% sure that a guy can make you a contender. And I don't think it's Super Bowl or bust. I think it's making your team a contender.
Get in the conversation.
Be in the playoffs. That should be it.
And that's why I came up. That's why I came up with that list of 9 quarterbacks I had.
There's more players than that could make the playoffs.
The thing is, with how many teams are now in the playoffs, like, were the Steelers happy with making the playoffs last year? Or should I say
they didn't have a quarterback?
It's not like
Rudolph.
it's not like they're allocating resources to the quarterback position. My point is, he's under the impression here that we should be blowing up the quarterback position and trying again when the rookie quarterbacks are not as consistent early on in their careers comparatively. And there's 1 or 2 hits a year.
Honest to God, guys, when I brought this up, I more or less just wanted to say, hey, man, the Rams are going to need a quarterback soon.
Yeah,
the Saints are going to need a quarterback
the word
soon.
you used was denial.
They're in denial. They were in denial. They need a quarterback sooner than later.
If you don't think a conversation is being had about what the 2027 Saints or the 2027 Rams are going to look like, I think you're crazy. They're not in denial. They're not going to think these guys are going to live forever and be quarterbacks forever. I think the topic really begs to ask the question, what do you think the Dolphins should have done in this offseason? Tua is the type of guy that when he's at his peak, that offense sets records. That offense is unbelievable. And, of course, the facts at hand change after he got another concussion this year already after playing every game last season. But, Mike, do you think that the Dolphins should have signed Tua to that record Dolphins contract?
I wouldn't have paid him.
How about you, Russo?
I wouldn't have paid him.
I agree. That's with the injury stipulations, I think that's a major problem. I completely agree on that one. So my question to you guys is, how do you guys think this works? How do you guys think this works? You think this is just the GM calling all the shots? You're dealing with agents, players associations, quarterbacks.
The problem is
you're dealing with reputations amongst players outside of quarterbacks.
Who was it? Old Cooler, our caller. You get, as a head coach or a GM, you get looped in on these guys. If they don't perform, you're out. You're going to lose your job if you make the wrong move.
My point is, reputation is a thing. Franchise reputation and how you treat players is a major component of running an NFL team. If you think that it's going to sit well with players by you just giving guys 2 seasons, and if you didn't win a Super Bowl in that time period, you could kind of kick rocks and we're not going to pay you, you think that's going to sit well with players associations? And it's not going to work, period.
What it's stemming from is Rizzo is a Browns fan. Rizzo saw the contract that Deshaun Watson got, and he says no one should make this mistake ever again.
That's the example. Daniel Jones is an example.
They did that out of desperation.
Daniel Jones is another example.
You had Baker,
I agree.
You had Baker.
Kyler Murray and Matthew Stafford and Derek Carr are not examples.
You had Baker Mayfield, who played injured and who turned the whole city against him for all the dumb things he was saying at the time. And I don't care. I don't care what Brown fan you talk to. Okay. Browns fans were very excited when they got Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and they should have been. It seemed like, I know the contract was crazy, but you got your guy who you wanted, and he looked like maybe a top 5 quarterback, if not a top 3 quarterback at the time.
And if your argument now is, these guys shouldn't put so much guaranteed money into these quarterbacks, blame the Players Association. Blame the players acting like these GMs are committing crimes by doing this. They can't control this. They cannot control this. It is a 2 to tango, 3 to tango. You're trying to please 50 different people here. This is not just monopoly money and Madden franchise money.
But then it turns into that. It turns into what the NBA is right now.
The NBA has money because you only pay 4 guys on a roster. It's a little different. And they could get the luxury tax is a major thing. The NBA is not a fair example. You have to pay 22 starters on offense and defense on top of everything else.
More or less the players running the league.
That's never going to happen for the NFL. The
wide receivers are certainly trying to make that happen right now.
There's no argument, Mike. The shelf life is a lot less than the NBA. The NBA has been the same guys for 20 years. It's a little different. The NFL, people are still tuning in regardless if CeeDee Lamb plays or not, regardless if Hassan Reddick plays or not, regardless if Lamar Jackson plays or not. They're tuning in. The NBA, Steph Curry does not play. You're losing about 50% of your viewership. We'll do some 5 at 5 next. Stick around. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Lease the new 2024 Range Rover Evoque 250S today at Land Rover Palm Beach for only $499 per month with a 42-month lease and only $47.50 down, plus fees and first month's payment. Head over to Land Rover Palm Beach today, located on Okeechobee Boulevard just past the Turnpike, or visit LandRoverPalmBeach.com to set up a test drive of the new 2024 Range Rover Evoque 250S. Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond.
Batter up, swing, batter, swing, batter. This one is for all the marbles. World Series week on ESPN 106.3 is presented by PNC Bank. PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the lives of the customers they serve in the South Florida community. See how at PNC.com. World Series week on ESPN 106.3 is also presented by Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning, Hard Rock Bet, the Boca Raton Bowl, Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium, and Twin Peaks.
Palm Beach County's premier college football event is back. Don't miss the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th from FAU Stadium and broadcast live on ESPN. Last year's game saw in-state Rising Power USF beat Syracuse out of the ACC. What will this year's game have in store? Big names, big teams, big action. The 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th at FAU Stadium on ESPN. Don't miss out. Find out more at BocaRatonBowl.com.
I'm Wendy Sartori-Link, your Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections. Tuesday, November 5th is Election Day and the polls are open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Find where you vote at votepalmbeach.gov. Remember to bring your photo and signature ID. If you still have a mail ballot, you can either vote in person at your polling location, drop it off at one of our drop-off locations during designated hours, or bring it to our main office by 7 p.m. on Election Day. It's an honor to serve and ensure your vote counts. See you at the polls. Sponsored by the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections Office.
Mark your calendars and gear up for game day. This Sunday, October 27th, join Bud Light and the ESPN West Palm Street team at Recovery Sports Bar in Port St. Lucie. Catch the action as the Cardinals face off against the Miami Dolphins from 2 to 4 p.m. Showcase your football skills for a chance to qualify for Dolphins tickets. Enjoy $20 Bud Light buckets while you cheer on the Fins. Must be 21 or older to participate. Southern Eagle reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Welcome to Homestead Miami, your home for the racing high life. A track as vibrant and colorful as South Florida. An Xfinity and Craftsman Truck Series playoffs doubleheader on Saturday. A Cup Series playoffs showdown on Sunday. And it's all caliente.
Side by side for the race lead.
NASCAR playoffs weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway, October 26th and 27th. Get your tickets now at homesteadmiamispeedway.com.
Hell of a job, guys.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by two words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
ESPN 106.3 is presented by Rubenstein Law. 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Car accident, truck accident, Uber or Lyft accident, or a slip and fall. Call Rubenstein Law. Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL and visit one of our offices throughout Florida.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Collins!
Russo and Rizzo live here, ESPN 106.3. Mike, explain this to me. So, Are the Cowboys Super Bowl contenders, yes or no?
They are. The roster
So
is good
the
enough to
Cowboys
win a
are
Super Bowl
Super Bowl
for
contenders.
the last 4 years.
Now, according to you...
And I don't think the quarterback can...
Hold on. I'll get to that. So the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders. So do you pay quarterbacks that can win you a Super Bowl? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
So
you want your quarterback...
What did the Cowboys do? They paid Dak Prescott. And all of a sudden, they paid a guy who cannot win a Super Bowl.
I don't think Dak can win a Super Bowl. Correct.
So Dak can't win a Super Bowl, but they're Super Bowl contenders.
Yes, because the roster is good enough around.
That's not a yes. That's a
offensive
paradoxical.
Defense,
that doesn't make any sense.
Offensive line, wide receivers. They need a running back.
Hold on.
I don't know why they didn't get a running back.
So they're Super Bowl contenders, but they can't win a Super Bowl with Prescott. Which is it? It's not both.
It's not allowed to be both. You can't
No,
have a
it's not allowed to be both. Think about what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that Prescott, it might be the thing holding them back. Can Dak make the big plays at the end of the game? Can Dak be the reason you're winning games? Let's not forget 2 years ago, the poor guy didn't get the spike off or whatever the hell happened at the end of that game. And you're paying him all that money.
So they're not they're Super Bowl contenders, but
made him look like
so what do? How do they get a Super Bowl contending quarterback? They draft a rookie? Talk about losing your job. Everybody in the locker room would get fired. They drafted one and if they let Prescott walk. If they let Prescott walk and they drafted a rookie and it blew up in flames, everybody loses their job.
You don't necessarily have to draft a rookie, though. And I know.
Listen, who do they go get? Give me an example.
Try to find the next Sam Darnold, man. Oh. I know you scoff at me, but look what. Hang on.
Go take a shot in the dark instead of signing the guy who had 36 touchdowns last year.
Take a shot in the dark. You pay Micah Parsons. You pay CeeDee Lamb. You keep the roster good, and you hope you run into some luck.
So you're the Cowboys. So you're the Cowboys right now. I run the Cowboys. I have two options. Hold on. I have the roster I have. I have an allocated salary cap. I could either pay Dak Prescott 36 touchdowns, who started for the last 8 years for the Dallas Cowboys. Has been relatively in the playoffs every year, coming off a really, really good year, a really strong year. Or I could take, quote unquote, a shot in the dark trying to find the next Sam Darnold, who hasn't played yet at this point in time, and take a chance on a free agent quarterback, God knows where.
The ultimate goal isn't obviously a Sam Darnold. The ultimate goal is a franchise quarterback, and usually those come through the draft. So you keep your team, in the hunt. You pay the players you want to keep around to make you a good team instead of spending a gazillion money on Dak Prescott.
I'll rephrase. I'm the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a Super Bowl contender. I have two options. I could pay Dak Prescott an extension after a 36-touchdown year and a team where the Cowboys were right in the thick of the hunt and playoff contenders, Super Bowl contenders in your eyes. Or I could go draft our next franchise quarterback because you're not going to get a franchise quarterback in free agency. Which do I do? If I'm the Cowboy general manager over the offseason, I can't do neither. I have to pay Dak Prescott because he has been the quarterback for the last 8 years.
You're gonna have to
or you draft a quarterback.
You're going to have to live with that contract too. So
what do you do?
I personally would probably move on and try to find the next thing.
You would be fired.
Okay.
You would be fired.
I would probably not give Dak Prescott $1 gazillion.
You would be fired.
And I'd probably reset that clock because I'm not willing to pay a quarterback that much money that I don't believe in.
C-Cat, your thoughts?
I'm not too gun-ho in firing the coach, GM, whatever, for making that move. I don't think it was a slam dunk option to sign Dak Prescott back to the Steelers.
So if the Cowboys drafted a quarterback and let Prescott walk,
you're good.
You think people survive that?
Yeah, I think so. I am very in on resetting a quarterback clock.
Who would they draft?
I don't know. They trade up, maybe punt on a year, and then reset from there.
So if the Cowboys punted on a year with this Super Bowl-ready roster, you think anybody would survive that?
I think so. I think if everyone's on the same page, yeah.
There were 7 coaching opportunities last year in the NFL. There have been 5 coaches that have lasted more than 7 years.
So let me get this straight. You're saying might as well sign Dak to that deal and try to go for it.
I'm saying
go for it.
Yes. Super Bowl ready roster. Is that what you said?
Go for it.
Is that what you said? Super Bowl ready? Yes or no?
I did say that.
So they're Super Bowl ready.
I think.
So do you go for it?
I think at this point, if you insert, even if you get decent quarterback play, you're probably going to make the playoffs and be in the hunt. I'd rather do that. I'd rather have a decent enough quarterback. Go out and get Joe Flacco. Hell, pay Flacco to be your quarterback. He brought the Browns to the playoffs, and if the Browns are smart enough, they probably would have moved on from Watson after last year.
So
but the Cowboys
should have went after Joe Flacco and let Prescott walk.
Colin, that's an example, bud. It's not go out and
tell
get
me what they should
Flacco.
do. Then tell me what they should do.
Go out. Don't pay your quarterback $1 gazillion who can't win a Super Bowl and you don't believe in. I don't think the Cowboys believe in Dak Prescott. They gave Dak Prescott because of.
You're not giving
Oh God, here we go.
Stop monologuing here. You're not giving me a solution. You're just saying don't pay him. You can't.
Your solution
not pay
is
him.
you don't pay the quarterback you don't think can win a Super Bowl, and you reset the quarterback clock, and you spend the money.
Then you waste the roster.
Spend the money.
But Mike, then you waste the roster.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
So now let's blow up the Super Bowl contending roster.
Sometimes that's what it takes. You paid CeeDee Lamb. He ain't going anywhere. You're going to pay Micah Parsons. It's not blowing up. You're keeping the cornerstones there.
Then they're going to be done in 3 years, 4 years. Then what? Good.
Look what Jane. Do you think Jane Daniels?
They just rebuilt that roster from scratch.
But what
is not an example you could use. They just bellied up that whole entire organization. And they haven't done anything in the postseason.
And I know Jaden Daniels was a top 2 pick, but do you try can you hit on a rookie quarterback? Can you hit on a rookie quarterback late? Can you hit on a rookie quarterback with the 12th pick? I know Cade. Someone we got to call her. Colin.
All right.
That's a delay for Cade
in West Palm Beach.
I'm not aborting from the conversation. I apologize. I didn't intend for this to
Cade in West Palm
turn into the
Beach
whole
on Russo and Rizzo joining us now. What's up?
This is fun.
Hey, Cade, what's going on?
This, guys.
Go ahead, Cade. I'm sorry.
This is fun. I'm enjoying this. You guys are finally enjoying radio. This is amazing. I want to put out a thought, though. I want to find a middle ground here.
Have at it.
So who's the next guy? Who's the next guy who's going to have to get quote unquote paid? Right? Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is the next what I consider to be franchise quarterback who's worthy of a new deal. Right?
Sure.
But let's think about what he's actually worth compared to both stat lines and what he's achieved, right? An NFC championship appearance, a Super Bowl appearance, but not once has he really cracked the top of an MVP list or any other significant stat outside of rating last year.
I
right?
think the question...
So he is a...
Cade, hey, sorry to butt in. The question you got to ask about Purdy is he a system guy, Shanahan, or could he actually be a quarterback that could have success elsewhere as well? I think that's
Why does that have to matter? He's in San Francisco. None of that matters. He's in San Francisco. We're going to pay him like he's in San Francisco.
I agree.
So to be fair, so what I'm saying is, what if Purdy takes a $50 million contract, a dead even 50?
Good luck.
It's not the 62 that would reset the market. It's an honest 50. That way they can keep the rest of the roster, but he is still a solid franchise quarterback.
So you're saying he's going to take a hometown discount because he's a system guy and he's already there in San Francisco.
Now, Cade, I love the thought, and I even thought Lawrence was going to do this. I even thought Lawrence was going to take less. And you're right. In theory, that's the right idea. Brady's the only one who's been able to successfully do that for some reason. But in the reality is, what is Purdy listening to? He's listening to his agent. And his agent tells him that do not give these NFL teams leverage with taking discounts here because then you're hurting the market for the other guys. They look out for each other. That is why they do it. That is why they reset the market every time somebody else gets signed, because the quarterbacks and the NFL players, period, want to make the most money they possibly can because the NFL franchises generate billions off their play. So they, in their shelf life of being a quarterback or being a player, need to set themselves up as best they can for themselves and for the other quarterbacks in the NFL. Their agents tell them that. They have Brady is an example. But I understand. In theory, that's a great idea.
And Colin, more to your point, that's why I mentioned this earlier. That's why people hated the Watson and what the Browns did with Watson, because you're giving them a lot of guaranteed money.
That was an outlier because that doesn't happen with other quarterbacks.
But would you agree that obviously Baltimore and Cleveland don't see eye to eye for more than one reason? But Baltimore had to pay Lamar Jackson. Do you think they were thrilled to see Deshaun Watson getting $240 million guaranteed?
Yes.
Because what's Jackson going to do?
And that's the perspective. But they do that for each other. Appreciate the call, Cade. Thanks for chiming in. But that's the perspective. That's what they do. And it's not just an NFL GM. You could do whatever you want. This is a two-pronged sword here with what side you could take. It's the players and the Players Association and the agents versus the general managers, the owners, and the coaches. That is what it is. You're not even considering the other side. The players need to get paid. They're players. They want to get paid.
Someone would pay Dak Prescott as well if Jerry and the Cowboys,
That's not the
him.
point. That's not the point. Yeah, somebody would probably pay him, but the idea is they want to reset
Would
the
you
market.
Nobody
wants to hit free agency.
Would you want your team to pay Dak Prescott? Say you're a cow. Put yourself in a Cowboy fan shoes. Would you be happy that they paid Dak Prescott?
You know what?
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. Because as compared to what? Grass isn't always greener on the other side. Browns fans can tell you that. Grass is not always greener on the other side. Be careful what you wish for. That's our take on that. We got Bill on the line. Bill, you're joining Russo and Rizzo. What's going on, Bill?
Nothing much. Long, hard day at work, but I got an easy answer to the quarterback situation.
What do you got for us?
What about Ricky Williams' original contract with the Miami Dolphins?
Here's a throwback. Okay. So what's your
Do you
point
remember
here?
He had a performance-based incentive contract where, let's say, he got 1,200 yards of rushing. Anything over 1,200, he got a bonus. Then he got a bonus for everything after 1,400. Then he got a bonus for everything after 1,600. Same thing with touchdowns and receptions out of the backfield. So what if every quarterback in the league made a base salary, say $20, $25, $30 million? Everybody gets paid the same. But if you throw for
incentives,
50 touchdowns gets you, some sort of lucrative extreme bonus.
So but how do you reward? But you're rewarding teams for statistical categories, not winning.
Well, the only category it would work with is quarterbacks. You can't do it with running backs and wide receivers because then you're just diluting the entire team.
So you're saying Bill, earn your lunch?
Well, you guys are talking about how somebody that may be third tier is making $5-10 million less than a top guy that's shown history in winning Super Bowls. I get that. But if everybody was paid exactly the same, but you're throwing for 50 touchdowns, you're keeping your interception rate less than 10, and you've got a completion percentage of 75% versus some bum that can't get halfway down the field.
Bill, here's my problem with this. Mahomes doesn't put up those crazy numbers anymore because he doesn't have to. Now Patrick Mahomes is getting paid a lot less than these other quarterbacks, and he's the best quarterback in the NFL. You see what I'm saying here?
Well, that I understand, but that's his option to take less on the back end so that his team can afford greater talent to surround himself.
But Bill, how do you combat that then? These quarterbacks are going to be fighting for their livelihoods and getting these bonuses, but not worried as much about winning. How does that benefit any side there?
If I've got a quarterback that's throwing for 300 yards a game, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions,
and losing,
I think it only raises the possibility that you are winning, not losing. How many guys go out there and have a +3 differential on touchdowns and are losing the game?
The defense is,
except for Baker.
But the problem, Bill, is no one's throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Call, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. No one's throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns right now in the NFL. You know what I mean?
I'm a little confused by Bill's. Bill wants a Karl Marxism. Wants socialist a way of approaching the quarterback position where everybody else gets their own contracts, but the quarterbacks have to make a base salary of $25 million, and it's just a statistical category incentive.
You went communist.
It's a little communist.
I don't think it's that far off the reservation if it is heavily incentive based. And these quarterbacks and these players won't go for it because the security of a guaranteed contract.
There's your answer.
I love Bill.
There's no point.
And listen, God bless. Can I say something? God bless Bill for calling us right after work. Bill, we love you. Please keep listening to the station, brother.
But how do they? The point is they don't agree to that.
No. Wow, Kyle, I did not expect this. I did not expect me saying that the Rams and the Saints.
It's a little socialist.
I did not expect this.
Greg from Boca, you're joining the show now. Craig and Boca joining on Russo and Rizzo. What's up, Craig? How you doing?
I'm good. And don't sweat it. I've been getting cold Greg my whole life. All good, fellas. Now, my thing with this is, so we're hearing about all these trade rumors, right? Like what's going to happen with Stafford? Are they going to move him? if the Cowboys just want to move on at the end of the year and explore a trade market, why not go get Stafford as a one-year Band-Aid? To your point, draft someone top 5, 10, 15, 20, sit and wait approach like Jordan Love and the Packers have done. Because let's face it, it's probably going to be Belichick in Dallas next year anyway. McCarthy's not coming back.
Hold on, Craig. Let me get something straight. You want to allocate three players on the field, a first-round pick in your eyes, a quarterback or a second-round or whatever, a high-round pick quarterback, and then you want to allocate a Matthew Stafford who's making a ton of money as it is, and then Dak Prescott on your team? How would that work?
No.
Dak would get traded to the Rams, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He gets traded to the Rams in a rebuild.
McVay would never.
That would be that would be if the Cowboys straight up gave up on Prescott. And I don't think that's the case. Would you agree?
I mean, but here's the thing. How much more do we need on his sample size to determine that he's not an NFL championship quarterback? Like you just said, he's been starting games for 8 years.
Sure.
And the Cowboys haven't won since I was a kid.
Colin's point is that Prescott helps make the Cowboys be a Super Bowl contender, though. Your thoughts on that?
But
and
how?
He's not too far.
What do you mean how? 36 touchdowns will tell you how. And winning at home and sure,
then,
he doesn't win the big one. Who has won the big one? Craig? Brady, Mahomes, Foles, and Stafford.
No one in Dallas since '95.
There's case in point.
Is coming down to Week 17, and they have to play Philly, the Giants, Washington for a back against the wall game to get in on the wild card or win the East. At some point, let's stop making this mistake. Like, when you have CeeDee Lamb and you have all that offensive talent, now the window's passed because Zeke's washed. You don't have a running game. Like, they missed their window. So, why hold on to Dak? What has Dak shown you?
Yeah, I agree with that. But coming into the season, maybe that window is passed. But coming into the season, they didn't think that window is passed. They thought they were in the thick of it. That's why they paid Lamb. That's why they paid Prescott.
Well, yeah, I was about to say it's why they paid
That's
Dak,
why they did that. I appreciate the call, Craig. Unless you want to jump back in. Yeah, go ahead.
He's C-Cat hung up on him.
Oh, okay.
He's here. Oh, yeah, he dropped out. Never mind.
All
We got another caller, though.
Okay. And we'll continue. Joe in Port St. Lucie joining us now. Joe, what's going on?
Hey, I'm a Denver Bronco fan. I can see both sides of this argument. We got Peyton Manning. He led us to the promised land. We paid a lot for him. And then after he was gone, we could not find anyone. We thought Brock Osweiler was going to be our guy. We thought Paxton Lynch was going to be our guy. And then we did the dumbest thing in Denver Bronco history, and we traded for Russell Wilson and traded the entire future of our team for Russell Wilson to put him in a system that he didn't even fit him.
Yeah, so that's my point. The grass isn't always greener when you do this quarterback carousel. It sometimes doesn't always work.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I thought that Russell Wilson trade was the worst thing the Broncos have ever done. We traded away all of our future for a guy that didn't even fit the system that our head coach was throwing in. He's not a West Coast offense.
Yeah, and to add to that point, the Broncos were in a situation where they were drafting a bunch of these mid-first round quarterbacks, and they all weren't churning out. And all of a sudden, talk about a purgatory. You think a purgatory is when you sign somebody decent, but they can't win the big game? What about that? You're trying this 1,000 different ways, and then all of a sudden the rookies aren't working, so you go to the free agent. That didn't work, and now you're back with Knicks. That's the problem.
But my deal is, I trust Knicks. I'll take Knicks. Dude, we were supposed to win 4
I agree.
games
I'm in on Knicks too.
year.
I'm in on Knicks too.
We
But
both are.
My point is, you had multiple quarterbacks where all of a sudden the Broncos had this short leash, kept trying. It's the grass is not always greener like that. These guys do not always churn out, which is why when you have somebody that's locked down like Prescott, a proven commodity, you got to pay him.
Joe, were you saying more or less too? You wish they would have had a better plan in place than when Manning was there for post Manning.
Well, my deal is yes. Well,
okay.
The problem is we're always in the middle of the pack, so we never get these really good draft picks. That's our problem. We're always in the middle of the pack. We don't get the top quarterback unless it's Elway. I think that's the last really good first-round pick we've had as a quarterback.
Trying to think, even like in my child, like, you guys had Jake Plummer. Where'd you draft Cutler? Did you draft Cutler?
Yeah, we draft Cutler. He was later in the first round.
Okay. Yeah. So
and
yeah, Elway really
he didn't pan out. He was a middle of the road. It's these first round quarterbacks that everybody hypes on. They're not it. But the problem is, if you get a guy that's been in the league for a while, you get him. You don't know what you're getting. I'm sorry. I think Aaron Rodgers is the most overrated quarterback in NFL history. Now he's at the Jets. What's he done?
Yeah, I agree.
He's older, though.
I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
Joe, but my point is...
Rodgers is older.
Grass is not always greener on the other side. So how many hits are there per year? 1 to 2? You can't just keep rolling the dice like this. That's how you lose jobs, and that's how you lose the confidence on your fan base. That's what the Browns have done. We'll just go find the next guy in the draft. How's that worked out? Oh, we'll go get the next guy.
They found one in Baker, but
and they got rid of him.
Egos got in the way.
Then they got rid of him. We could always find somebody better. Can't always find somebody better. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. We'll do a little 5 and 5 next. Stick around.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3. Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the lives of the customers they serve in the South Florida community. See how at PNC.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
This is the Delray Beach Open. Don't miss today's top professional tennis stars and legends in downtown Delray Beach. February 7th through 16th. It's 10 days of tennis on the Ave. 140 miles per hour races, parties, music, art, and all the good vibes. Come for the nonstop action on and off the court. Snap pics and post memories at the DBO. Join us for a jam-packed week of ATP tennis matches. More fun, more food, more drink, more parties, more of everything. DelrayBeachOpen.com for info.
Mark your calendars and gear up for game day. This Sunday, October 27th, join Bud Light and the ESPN West Palm Street team at Recovery Sports Bar in Port St. Lucie. Catch the action as the Cardinals face off against the Miami Dolphins from 2 to 4 p.m. Showcase your football skills for a chance to qualify for Dolphins tickets. Enjoy $20 Bud Light buckets while you cheer on the Fins. Must be 21 or older to participate. Southern Eagle reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play. Missing the kickoff doesn't mean all bets are off.
Delay a game on the guy who hasn't bet yet.
Sometimes you just know your team is going to come back. The Sportsbook for every kind of player. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slbt.com. That's slbt.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Rolling on here on a Wednesday midweek in October. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. As always on ESPN 106.3 at the downtown studios right here at the City Place in West Palm Beach. Now, I'll tell you one thing that not enough people know about. It's the Where to Watch feature on the ESPN app. It's available on every screen in the ESPN app and ESPN.com. It's only a tap away for every sports fan's daily routine. What it is for any, not just exclusive to ESPN, Fox, Peacock, access any game and where to watch it. I had no idea that ESPN had this on the app. It's a Where to Watch feature, and you could actually find where each and every game is located. Fans can search for events and customize the guide even to prioritize their favorite teams and leagues, making it's so fast and easy to discover what they care about the most. It's all tied to their ESPN profile. It's got a lot of personalization. And they can view all the sporting events for the entire day, too. So the Where to Watch is like, it's honestly kind of crucial because I always find myself looking that up. Where can I watch the Pitt game? Where can I watch the Navy game? And sometimes they'll say, like, oh, CBS. Oh, where on CBS? Is it CBS Sports Network? Is it this? Is that? Is it this?
Yeah, it's awesome. For college football, man, it's crucial. Yeah. It's an essential repertoire.
Colin's always trying to find the Service Academy games.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to be watching them. So I'm fascinated. This is a great new feature that ESPN app is adding. And I'm going to be using this quite frequently. I'll tell you that. So I'm excited to get really involved with this. The ESPN Where to Watch feature. And finding all the games and where to watch them week in and week out. College football is going to be huge because those games are on 1,000 different, broadcast networks. So I'm excited to get really a feel of that. And it's super easy to get involved in that. Go check out the Where to Watch feature on the ESPN app.
Or on the website, too.
On the website, ESPN.com as well. So
you're at work, don't want to work anymore. You know what? Open tab, ESPN.com, Where to Watch, easy.
Alrighty. Let's get to some 5 and 5.
Number 1.
Fellas, it's been a hot, contentious Russo and Rizzo edition here, episode 35, I believe. So let's cool it down a little bit with some hot stove news in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs have finalized their trade for receiver DeAndre Hopkins from Tennessee. How much does this put the Chiefs in the driver's seat of the NFL?
Colin, I don't even think they needed to do this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I really don't think they needed to trade for a receiver. Colin, we've done shows in the past of us not necessarily believing in giving huge money to receivers because you could just draft one in the second round and probably strike gold. This isn't like the quarterback conversation where, they're a dime a dozen. So I don't know. I didn't think they personally needed to do this.
I would agree. I think they would win regardless, but he adds another piece to the puzzle, and he's going to be used properly. Reed's going to get creative with him as long as he's willing to buy into what the Chiefs do. He's not just going to be that vertical threat he always is. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they deploy him.
Last thing, the last time we saw a really good receiver there was Tyreek Hill, and look how that turned out.
Number 2.
Number 2.
The Brownies, the Cleveland Browns planning on starting Jameis Winston, according to OC Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey.
They have also signed former Boca Raton Bowl alum Bailey Zappi to the roster. Will the Browns actually win games without Watson at quarterback?
Now, Colin, I told you what the Browns are doing before the year, and we both scoffed at it and laughed hysterically. It's Ken Dorsey's offense, but he's not calling the plays. Kevin Stefanski calls the plays. Nothing is going to save that team this year. Nothing. They'll probably win 2 or 3 games all year. They're going to have the number 1 pick. And guess what? Shedeur Sanders isn't going to want to go there. It is so Cleveland Brown to be miserable this year and have this not be a quarterback class and probably come up empty with having a top 5 pick this year. Nothing is saving this football team this year. You made your bed with Watson. Now lay in it.
I think they'll be better than what they were with Watson. I think that goes without question. Winning games, it depends what you quantify as winning games, whether that's 1 game or 3 games or 4 games. I think everybody's on the same page that the Browns do have talent. I think it's a matter of, I think they'll catch some people by surprise, whether that's 2 or 3 games, probably the case. Will they steal games? Yeah. Are they going to lose out? I would say no. So, but is this going to change their season? Absolutely not. Number 3.
Number 3.
Andy Dalton, Red Rocket. He was involved in an automobile accident and has a hurt thumb. Rizzo, why'd you type it automobile accident? The car accident.
That's what it said. It said an automobile accident.
He hurt his thumb.
5 things at once every day.
He hurt his thumb in the car accident. So, Bryce Young will now start for the Panthers. Will we see Dalton again this year, or is Bryce getting his job back?
I guess it depends how he plays. If they think that he's taken enough steps to win them a game or play well, it's not like the Panthers have the luxury, 2 quarterbacks or 0. They're not winning any games. They look terrible. And that defense is not going to do him any favors. So, I mean, it depends on what Canales views as a successful Bryce Young game. All right, if that means winning, then he's got another thing coming. But if it means that the offense is pretty capable at Denver against a pretty good defense, then that's another thing. So I would say that this is probably up in the air. I would imagine he goes back to Dalton, but if he plays well, why would you go anywhere else?
My best guess is yes. I think Young probably plays for the rest of the year just because, oh man, you know what you got with Dalton. And I know we had this conversation earlier, in the season. For Young's sake, I hope so. I hope he's a quarterback for the rest of the year.
In a league full of quarterbacks that seem to get their feelings hurt, Bryce Young's had a great attitude these past maybe month and a half.
That's all that matters.
I'm kind of rooting for him at this point.
That's all that matters.
You see him on the sideline, always attentive, earpiece in hand, helping out, hyping up his team.
Him.
Also to Colin's point, Colin said nothing's saving the Browns. I don't think anything's saving the Panthers either.
But I give Young credit. You showed a little maturity there, and you're taking it the right way and not having the pressure of preparing for something week by week. I think it's helped him.
Who said something about Deontay Johnson, or is that in the pre-show meeting?
No one said it on the air. How about that?
Okay. What did Deontay Johnson say?
He said, I can't do everything on the field myself.
That's what they're dealing with right now in Carolina. Sadly, I don't think anything's saving that team.
Number 5, 4?
4.
Number 4.
The Dodgers slugger Shohei Ohtani's 50th home run ball. Remember his 50-50 season clincher in Miami? Well, it just sold at auction for $4.392 million. The previous high price was Mark McGwire's record-breaking 70th home run ball from the 1998 MLB season, which Todd McFarlane paid $3 million. In early '98, is Ohtani the biggest athlete in sports?
Internationally, there's definitely a conversation.
In the world, sorry, I've butchered the 5 at 5 today. Is he the biggest athlete in the world?
No, not even close. Baseball's not the biggest sport in the world.
Who's the biggest athlete in sports right now?
I think it's Messi.
Yeah, it's one of the soccer stars.
Who's the biggest non-soccer athlete in sports? I think it's still LeBron James.
I would agree. It's either LeBron, Curry, and Ohtani. Probably the 3.
Mahomes get there?
No. American football does not have the influence internationally as people think.
It's a tastemaker, though.
People would now, Colin, I agree with you. I think people listening would disagree with us.
Why?
Brazil and Europe games, London.
Mahomes is not bigger than the NFL. LeBron, Curry, and Ohtani are bigger than the leagues they play in.
I'm with you. Trust me.
And Mahomes is not. Brady never was. Mahomes isn't.
Do you want to know who is, though? Taylor Swift.
Bigger than what league?
Everything. That girl's bigger than everything.
Yeah.
Anything that I watch or listen to.
I don't think people understand the weight of Ohtani's
That was a joke,
influence.
by the way.
I don't think they understand the weight of Ohtani's influence in Asia. He is so big in Asia.
I'm putting you on the spot, brother. Didn't you have the numbers for Japan?
Yeah, 13 million people watched a World Series Game 5 in Japan. A World Series Game 5 at 9 in the morning in Tokyo, in Japan. Japan's got like 100 million people in the country. 12.9 million watched. Over a tenth of the population at 9 a.m. on a Saturday tuned into Shohei Ohtani playing across the world against a bunch of Americans. That's crazy.
That can't pitch and hit. Losers.
5.
Number 5.
LeBron James and Bronny James became the first father-son duo in NBA history to play together after 3 minutes last night. Bronny went 0 for 2 from the field. Was this as big as a moment as people make it out to be?
Stupid. I already gave my thoughts a little early. This is a big waste of time. A cool story for 5 seconds. The Lakers are playing into the fact that he should not be playing by only playing him 2 minutes. They played him for those 2 minutes and they got him out, and he sat at the end of the bench. So, fine. Get the story out of the way. But these pity minutes, I can't imagine that Bronny loves this. I really can't. There's no way that this is all for LeBron's ego. The story is I played 22 years, and I could get my kid drafted and into the league. You think if Bronny didn't have the LeBron pressure, he would have declared for the draft? No. He's doing it because of him. It's honestly a lot of pressure for the kid, and I feel for him because he's a young guy. But now he's putting himself in a position where he's not going to get a lot of game minutes, and he's playing in a league where he's going to have a target on his back. Everybody's coming after him. It's going to be hard for him to develop. It is.
I liked it. I love LeBron. I hope that Bronny could turn into something in the future. Now, I agree with Colin. I do not think Bronny is ready for NBA action. But I hope that one day he could develop his skill set, which makes him successful in the NBA. And I hope we could look back at this and go, wow, that was the start of something special. But
Theo Dorsey, who's on these airwaves, ESPN 106.3, ESPN West Palm.
2 to 4, theoretically speaking. Make sure you're listening.
He said Bronny Jr. will have a 10-year NBA career.
I hope
put
so.
His reputation on it.
Listen, I told you, for everything I just said, I love LeBron. I love his family. I hope
it's just a stupid comment. Off what? Off what, Theo?
The mentor that is LeBron James.
Right, the mentor. How many great people have LeBron mentored? Huh?
The thing is, it's not a father-son achievement, and it shouldn't be celebrated as such. It's a LeBron achievement. Wow, you stuck around this long. That's
100% right. 100%. This is a LeBron ego thing.
But what happens if he's good?
I'm kind of mad that Kenny...
Yeah, I guess I'll play devil's advocate for my guy. What happens if
he's good?
Bronny turns into something?
If he's good and LeBron's still in the league, great. Then it's a Griffey situation. Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr.
The fact they were in attendance, I kind of lost respect for them by acknowledging that these are comparable feats.
Because
Griffey
both players
Jr.
Griffey Jr., of course, a first ballot Hall of Famer, and then Griffey Sr. was a good player.
Yeah.
So you had two good players playing at the same time. This is not that. This is one great player at the tail end of his career and his son that they gave pity minutes to.
Yeah.
That's what that is. He would not have been drafted 55th overall to the Lakers if that was the case. He did not play at all in college. He was not a terrific high school player. Yet everybody in the league saying this is a LeBron thing. LeBron is the highlight. This is getting posted everywhere. I can't imagine Bronny likes this. I feel for him. If I were him, I would have went far away from USC. I would have went to Villanova or somewhere entirely too far away where you could just refine your skills and kind of make a name for yourself in a lot of ways.
It's funny because they are so far away. No one can live up to the legacy of LeBron James. That's obvious.
Of course.
But if Bronny was a good player, if Bronny was a lottery pick, you can't ignore people would say, well, I mean, he is LeBron James' son and he is really good. He'd have more pressure that way. The fact that he's the pick number 55, everyone acknowledges, okay, Bronny kind of sucks. This is kind of cool. It's not like we have high hopes for him.
Maybe. Now at the certain point, he's behind the 8 ball and he just needs to surprise people. There's a point to be made there. But
I know you guys are going to scoff at me for this, but I
scoffed already.
I thought he looked pretty good in that last preseason game.
Means nothing. That means nothing. Nothing. Next to zero.
He can't.
I think I could put a 5, 4, and 3 in a preseason
You
game.
guys think what? 3-year career, and it's because of his dad.
4-year career. That's what's guaranteed.
I can't say this. I haven't seen the kid play, not even in college. The fact that people are hypothesizing this, you don't know.
Maybe
what's it? The 2 minutes yesterday Theo sold you.
Maybe he surprised us, and I hope he does.
He's got every opportunity to surprise everybody, so take advantage of it. I root for him. But the idea that I can make a declaration about what his career is going to be when this guy has like 11 total game minutes in the last 3 years that I've watched, I can't do it. And that's why I can't take that take from Theo seriously. It's just a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of nonsense. Laker game was not where the action was. Real action's happening December 18th at the FAU Stadium. The Boca Raton Bowl is coming up. Mike can tell you all about it.
Folks, we are 57 days out from the 11th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Be listening tonight, Boca Bowl Weekly. Coming up tonight with myself, Mike Rizzo. We'll be going through all the big college football stories. We had a big one between Georgia and Texas. We had a big one between Tennessee and Alabama. We'll go through all the other action as well. And Colin, make sure you're listening, bro, because I'm talking Service Academy as well. So we're going to have fun with Boca Bowl Weekly coming up next. Once again, 57 days away from the 11th annual Boca Bowl, Wednesday, December 18, 2024. FAU Stadium in Boca Raton, kickoff at 5:30. And something cool that I actually saw while playing the game. C-Cat, I know you play College Football 25. The Boca Raton Bowl is in the game.
Of course. You can relive those moments.
It is amazing. So if you got CFB 25, make sure you check out the Boca Raton Bowl in the game as well. And make sure you secure your tickets by going to BocaRatonBowl.com/tickets. That's BocaRatonBowl.com/tickets. And you can get signed up for the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl pre-sale. Sign up. Folks, beautiful Boca Raton Bowl coming up here soon.
Now, the real question is, with the NBA starting, is who is that 1A top player in the league? I feel like it's been kind of an open book here for a couple of years now, ever since LeBron sort of exited that prime, ever since really he went to the Lakers. But I wanted to get your thoughts on that. We threw it up on Twitter at ESPN West Palm. Who is that top player in the league? Is it Nikola Jokic? Is it Giannis Antetokounmpo? Is it somebody new like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Is it Doncic? Is it still LeBron? We get to that next. Stick around. It's Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
ESPN West Palm and Humana are proud to recognize military veterans within our local community. Our Veteran of the Month is Colin Durant. Colin served 5 years in the United States Navy, with additional service as an FMF corpsman in the U.S. Marines. Colin resides in West Palm Beach and continues to be an inspiring presence in the veteran community. He is a proud owl, graduating from Florida Atlantic University with a master's degree in business. Colin is an avid sports fan. His favorite teams are the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Phillies. His favorite athlete is Kevin Durant. Join us in extending our heartfelt gratitude to Colin for his unwavering service, sacrifice, and continued dedication to his fellow veterans. Colin Durant is the Veteran of the Month, presented by ESPN West Palm and Humana.
Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-FREE. Listen, if you were in an accident, car accident, truck accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, injured on the job, workers' comp issues, call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. They will fight for you. They do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation that you know that you deserve. Do not deal with the insurance companies on your own. That's impossible. They make it as such. Anajar and Levine will help you to take back control of your life. Again, you'll always talk about your case with an actual attorney. They answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you to take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Call Anajar and Levine, my accident attorneys. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Batter up, swing, batter, batter, swing, batter, batter. This one is for all the marbles. World Series week on ESPN 106.3 is presented by PNC Bank. PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the lives of the customers they serve in the South Florida community. See how at PNC.com. World Series week on ESPN 106.3 is also presented by Hurricane Grill and Wings, X-Golf West Palm Beach, The Breakers Palm Beach, and South Florida Ford.
Hi, this is Blaine Isbell, Corporate Vice President of Team IP. For over 30 years, Team IP has been a national leader in decorated apparel and promotional products. National corporate brands and 22 college bowl games, including the Boca Raton Bowl, make Team IP their partner of choice. Team IP, located right in our community in Stuart, is a proud partner of ESPN West Palm. Contact me anytime at 877-821-8643 or head to teamip.com and take the first step in making Team IP your team to boost your brand.
Went a little late today on Russo and Rizzo, but it's been a fun one. Missed any of the show, catch it back at ESPN West Palm or at Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. If you ever want to see our pretty faces, we live stream on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube as well. You can catch the flashbacks of those then. If you missed any of the show and you want to watch it, go check it out at ESPN West Palm, at Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, or at ESPN West Palm on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. All of us are there. Big thanks to the CCAT helping us out behind the glass. Big thanks to Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo been here. We'll be back at it Thursday, previewing some Thursday Night Football. Another week of football coming up hot. World Series this weekend. It's been a fun one, though. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend bets against your team and the friendship. Or choose chill because you're drinking Coors Light with your buddy. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by two words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule